The Tower of London has long been a symbol of power and control, a place where enemies of the state were imprisoned and, in many cases, met their gruesome end. Its walls echo with the cries of fallen monarchs, ambitious nobles, and unlucky commoners. Here are 10 of the most infamous inmates and executions that have cemented the Tower of London's dark reputation. Anne Boleyn, the second wife of King Henry VIII, is perhaps the Tower's most famous victim. After failing to produce a male heir and falling out of favor with the king, she was arrested on charges of adultery, incest, and treason. On May 19, 1536, Anne was executed within the Tower grounds. A French swordsman was brought in for her beheading, as it was considered a more merciful method than the axe. Legend says her ghost still haunts the tower, particularly the chapel of St. Peter ad Vincula, where she is buried. In 1483, Edward V, aged 12, and his younger brother Richard, Duke of York, were sent to the tower by their uncle, Richard, Duke of Gloucester. Shortly afterward, Richard declared himself King Richard III, and the boys were never seen again. Their disappearance remains one of history's greatest mysteries. Were they murdered? If so, by whom? Centuries later, 2 small skeletons were discovered under a staircase in the White Tower, believed to be the remains of the princes, but their fate is still debated. Lady Jane Grey, a young Protestant queen, ruled for just 9 days before being overthrown by supporters of Mary I. Jane and her husband, Guildford Dudley, were imprisoned in the tower. Despite her youth and the political maneuvering that placed her on the throne, Jane was executed on February 12, 1554, at the age of 16. Her composure during her execution impressed witnesses, but her tragic story serves as a warning about the perils of power. Margaret Pole, Countess of Salisbury, was one of the last Plantagenets and a staunch opponent of King Henry VIII. Accused of treason, she was imprisoned for over 2 years before her execution in 1541. Her death was particularly horrific. Her inexperienced executioner reportedly took 11 blows to complete the beheading. Her story remains a vivid example of the brutal lengths to which Tudor rulers went to eliminate their perceived enemies. Thomas More, a former Lord Chancellor and a devout Catholic, was imprisoned in the Tower after refusing to acknowledge Henry VIII as the supreme head of the Church of England. His principled stand cost him his life. He was executed on July 6, 1535. More's famous last words, "I die the king's good servant, but God's first," cemented his legacy as a martyr and a saint. Guy Fawkes, the most famous member of the Gunpowder Plot, was brought to the Tower after his plan to blow up the Houses of Parliament was foiled in 1605. Tortured on the rack, Fawkes eventually revealed the details of the conspiracy. He was later executed by hanging, drawing, and quartering, a grisly punishment for treason. William Wallace, the Scottish freedom fighter, was brought to the Tower in 1305 after being captured. He was tried and sentenced to a brutal execution for treason against King Edward I. Though his execution occurred outside the Tower at Smithfield, Wallace's imprisonment there marked a pivotal moment in his story. Before she ascended to the throne, Princess Elizabeth, later Elizabeth I, was imprisoned in the Tower by her half-sister Mary I, who suspected her of plotting against her reign. Elizabeth's life hung by a thread during this time, but she was eventually released. Her survival and later triumph as queen remain one of history's great stories of resilience. The Tower of London witnessed one of its strangest executions in 1478, if the legend is to be believed. George Plantaginet, brother to King Edward IV, was convicted of treason. Official records state that he was put to death privately, but other contemporary sources allege he was drowned headfirst in a barrel of his favorite Malmsey wine. Fact or fiction, it's a fittingly bizarre end for a man whose ambition sealed his fate. Catherine Howard, Henry VIII's fifth wife, was imprisoned in the Tower in February 1542 after being accused of adultery and treason. As her barge approached, she likely glimpsed the severed heads of her alleged lovers displaying on London Bridge. Just days later, Catherine was executed on Tower Green, reportedly expressing remorse. Her body rests near Anne Boleyn's in the chapel of St. Peter ad Vincula, a grim reminder of the dangers of Tudor court life. The Tower of London stands as a testament to the complex and often tumultuous history of England. Its walls have witnessed the rise and fall of monarchs, the execution of traitors, and the mysterious disappearances that still intrigue us today. As you explore its corridors and towers, remember that every stone has a story to tell, each more captivating than the last. If you're planning a trip to London, then you need to check out our London Travel Guide playlist. It has everything you need to know to make your vacation amazing, like the best things to do, must-try dining experiences, and much more. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more travel guides, and hit the bell so you never miss an adventure. Thanks for watching Travels Unfiltered. See you next time.